Hi, I'm Sam, your resident fantasy reader,
And I'm Morgan, your romance reader, and we welcome you to Just One More Page.
where it's never just one more page.
Why did I turn my mic on? The first thing I want to do is sneeze.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe it's like you're allergic to the podcast.
I'm allergic to bullshit. Is what
Oh
I'm allergic to.
no. I also
Nah.
realized I did not move my mic before you pressed start. And I'm like, wait, why is my mic all the way turned around?
We're a hot mess. It's fine.
My bad.
It's fine.
Well, Sam, I will say happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Let me just say right now, I have realized that I've been craving those candy hearts for the longest time right now. Okay.
Really?
Yes. I think I've been seeing them all over TikTok constantly, just like these candy hearts. And I was like, ooh, I really want to eat these candy hearts. So I got a pack, right? Please tell me why I almost broke my tooth on one of them. I didn't realize they were so gosh darn hard.
They're disgusting is what they are.
I don't mind them. They kind of
They're
remind
so
me
gross.
they kind of remind me a little bit of those like wafers that come in like a pack, and they're colors, and they're like, I forgot what it's called.
I know you're talking about it's like
What's it
they're
called?
like the flat wafers. It's like
what are they
Neo
called?
something, Neapolitan. It's not Neapolitan, is it?
No. I don't.
I know you're talking about. And those are gross too.
Listen.
They're like the colorful flat wafers.
I love it. That's what I grew up on.
Wait. We're gonna Google this.
I'm looking it up right now. Oh, it's Necco's.
Necco
Yeah. Wafers. That is what I grew up on as a kid. I would get those all the time, and I would always make sure I gave my sister the brown one. It's like a brownish color one because that was like pepper, and I was like, "Here you go. You can have this one." Disgusting. But besides that, let's just talk about Sam about how I was able to see you this weekend.
Yeah,
I met Clayton. He is so big, but he is such. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. He is such a sweet little boy. Like I hear that like toddlers. Well, Clayton's a toddler, right?
Yeah.
Toddlers are hard, right? But he is so well behaved. Like if he grabs something, you're like, "Can I have it?" He's like, "Here you go." Meanwhile, I've known toddlers before where you're like, "Can I have that?" And they're like, "I'm gonna beat you up with this thing I'm holding. How dare you ask me to have it back?"
Listen, that is the phenomenon of he's around other people, because you want to know what he does when I ask him to give me something that he doesn't want to give up?
What?
He chucks it.
Oh,
he chucks it
doesn't.
halfway across the room. Yes, I'll be like,
he doesn't.
He'll grab something, and it's usually hard or like something breakable.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "Give me that," or "Are you supposed to have that?" And he'll like chuck it across the room and then run the opposite direction. Like, what are you talking about? I don't have nothing in my hand, Mom.
He is so chaotic. I loved him though. He was so funny. And we did so many fun things. Although I do think it's funny that one woman, so we were out to dinner, right? And this one older woman at another table, which by the way, I just kind of find it a little odd when like you're out to dinner and you guys, because your back was kind of turned to her, so I could see her perfectly all through dinner. Because Clayton's are eating food all through dinner. The woman is looking at Clayton and going, "Hi," and waving her hand at him, and then playing peekaboo. And she's like across the restaurant, and I'm just like, "Lady, what are you doing?"
Because when we first got there, he was looking around and she waved at him, which whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's cute. Yeah,
it happens all the time.
Yeah,
like all the time. We go out and people just like wave at him because he's adorable, and usually that's the end of the interaction. Is sometimes people will like come up to our table and they'll be like, "We just got to tell you like he's super cute" or whatever, and that happens a lot. And I'm not being like, I make a cute baby, but I made a cute baby. But like she asked if he was British.
Which is funny because we're having like, this is like end of the dinner too, where we've all been talking, and you can hear that we obviously did not sound British. Okay, we very much don't sound British. Okay, I can't even do a British accent. Okay, that's how un-British we are. But I just found it funny that she's like, "Is he British?" Like, I don't know where she got that from, Sam.
I don't know where she's like, he's like 3, right? And mind you, she didn't wave me over. She waved my husband over.
Yes, yes.
Like my husband was the one who went up to the table, which
Well,
I'm very grateful for.
let's be honest, Sam. Your husband is extroverted. Me, you both are introverted. If that lady was waving us over, we would both put our heads down and be
Well,
like, "You don't
and
see
we were
us."
both like, I should go up as the parent and like protect my child and ask what's going on and why this stranger lady wants to talk to my child. But my husband had my child, and
Yeah,
you and I just sat at
yeah.
the table like, what the fuck's going on?
Once again, we're introverts, and no way we gotta get up. We're like that. Yeah, no, we're not dealing with that. But I just found it funny that she's like, "He's British, right?"
Ma'am,
What?
neither one
What?
of us are talking. None of us at the table have an accent. Like, what are you talking about? Go sit down.
Exactly. Although I will say my favorite thing that we did do, besides, of course, hanging out with your child and meeting him, and I'm so obsessed and giving him toys, was that, of course, we had to make a stop at Barnes and Noble.
Oh yeah.
We just had to do a quick stop, just a quick stop, which was super fun. And I found a couple books that were not released yet. Have I read them yet? No, but I'll get there eventually. But besides, hanging out with your kid, we, had fun seeing each other. And I
Yeah.
don't know, how has the rest of your week been? I feel like we've just been very busy. What did
I
we
feel like
do?
I feel like we had like my week. I don't even know. This whole week just kind of went by in a blur because between work and then like we've got some like really exciting things coming up for the
Oh,
podcast. But
yes,
for
yes.
whatever reason, this next like week and a half is just like slammed with just podcast stuff, which
Yeah,
is great. I
yeah.
mean, I'm not. This is not a complaint. It's just like, oh my god, what is happening? Because I'm so used to like Tuesday the book comes out, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday reading the book, Friday we record the podcast, and there's a bunch of things that are happening that are kind of like adjusting the schedule,
Yeah.
and my brain who like I love routine, the routine is gone for the next couple weeks,
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's fine, it's good, it'll be fine,
it'll be fine.
it'll be fine, but I'm just like, oh my god.
It's gonna be fine. We're gonna struggle, but it's okay.
We know
And
we're in the struggle together, it is
you know
fine.
what? It's okay. And hopefully at the end of the week, or at least hopefully by Valentine's Day, one of us gets a book bouquet. Okay, that's all we can wish for, and hopefully it'll make the day go better. Hint, 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 hint. To Sam's husband, get
Who
Sam a
does
book
not listen to the
bouquet.
podcast. He has
Listen,
no interest in this
listen. How
podcast.
many times did we beg him to get you a Kindle?
I know. But that was
So
like after me like obsessively being like, look, I want a Kindle. And guess what? The new Kindles came out. And hey, it's on sale. And I could get this gift card. Like I like laid it on thick.
yeah.
And I love that thing. Like, I read so
Yeah,
much faster
I
on it.
am gonna pull the trigger soon and get a Kindle.
Yeah, because your iPad have
Yeah, my iPad, like, I can't get NetGalley on it, and that's the main reason why I have my iPad is to read. And if I can't get NetGalley on it, it's hard for me to read ARCs, so I need to
yeah.
get it. But anyways, I listen. We've been yabbing, gapping, and talking too much. Let's talk about this week's episode. So this week's episode, we're gonna do our Valentine's Day episode, in which we are gonna be talking about some stories to do with love Valentine's Day. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like whatever you want to talk about, kind of thing.
As long as it's
Uh,
Valentine's related. That's all that
yes, it's
matters.
kind of Valentine's Day. Well, mine is definitely Valentine's Day related, kind of. Anyways, last year Sam did a story about Saint. I almost said Saint Nicholas, but no,
No.
Saint about the Saint of Valentine's Day. And I did a story from Arthurian legend, which was super fun. But Sam doesn't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what Sam's going to talk about. It's a fun time. So,
Yeah.
Sam, do you want to start?
Okay,
Okay,
so I
let's go.
figured I would do the Christmas version of what you did, or the Valentine's Day version of what you did at Christmas time, where I've got like a bunch of like traditions and stuff,
Okay.
and I'm gonna have you guess which country
Ooh,
they
fun.
belong
Okay.
to.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything that's like a super high hint, but I just want to see like where your brain goes with all of these.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so in this country, you opt for orchids. Thanks to the countrywide carnival celebrations, most of these people are on holiday on February 14th, which means they have extra time to plan their loved up itinerary. Instead of exchanging roses, many opt for orchids, a flower native to this country. They even hold mass weddings to accommodate all the couples saying I do on the most romantic day of the year.
I honestly have no clue. I'm trying to think about where orchids come from. I I feel like they would come somewhere from like South America.
Yeah, you're in the right area.
I don't know, Sam.
Just guess. You're in the right area for South America.
Uh,
It's an itty bitty country.
ooh. All I can think about is like, okay, I want to say Brazil, but Brazil's not itty bitty.
Brazil is huge.
Ecuador? That's tiny.
It's Peru.
Oh, Peru. Okay, okay. So I was kind of right. It was kind of in that area because I was like thinking like, well, when I first thought orchid, I think about like Easter, and I was like, no, not the Easter Islands.
Yeah.
But okay, so like Peru. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And I'm just like, they hold the mass weddings. I'm like, did we go to Machu Picchu and just all say I do or something? Like, what
I
you
love
doing?
that. I
Love
love
that
that.
for them.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this country, for anyone flying solo, it is the place to be. You don't have to worry about feeling left out of the festivities because in this country, it's all about celebrating with your friends. The day is even called Friends Day in their native language, not Valentine's. The official flower is the pink rose, but mates are happy to receive gifts, cards, or candy too. It's
Mm.
a European country. I'll give you a hint. It's a European
Oh, okay,
country.
okay, okay. Is it roses? I want to say it's like, I want to say it's like, it's not Ireland. I can't see Ireland doing that. I can't see Scotland doing that. I can't see England doing that.
So Friends Day is your hint. It's just think
Is it
about Friends Day.
Friends Day?
Yeah.
Friends Day?
Yeah.
French fry Paris, France. I'm just kidding.
Finland.
Oh, Finland. Okay, okay. I wouldn't have gotten that. It would have taken me a minute. Um, okay, Finland.
Okay.
I see that. I need to go Finland. That'd be a fun time.
All right. In this country, couples get seriously romantic on Valentine's Day. Lovebirds all over the aisle exchange gifts of flowers, chocolates, and jewelry. In the evening, couples typically enjoy a nice dinner on the town or up for candlelit spread at home. Either way, love is in the air. It is not the United States.
Is it South Korea?
No,
Oh, because I know it's
it's
South
Europe.
Korea.
It's
Oh,
European.
oh my gosh, Europe again. England?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the
Oh,
UK.
okay, okay. I see that. I see that. I know in South Korea they get very romantic too. They have like Pokey Day. Or wait, is that Valentine's Day? I don't know. I'm getting confused. I'm
Well,
getting
there's
too
like White Day
Yeah, that's what
and
it is.
yeah.
I'm getting too competitive right now. I'm like getting ready for the next question. Okay, good.
Okay. It's the man who is pampered in this part of the world on Valentine's Day when women buy chocolates for their male partners, family members, and coworkers are as a token of affection and appreciation. Uh
What?
oh my god, this is gonna give it away. But don't worry, ladies, the favor is returned a month later on March 14th, also known as White Day,
Oh,
where men
South Korea.
reciprocate the
South
cake,
Korea.
candies, and flowers. It's South
I
Korea and
was
Japan.
I yeah, I was like, listen, I was prepared for the next question. I told you. I knew it. I listen, keep in mind, me and Sam are not next to each other. We're like miles apart. I just had a feeling they were included. I was like, that's the only Valentine's Day knowledge I know from K dramas. Okay. I'm good with that one. I can, yes.
Okay.
Okay. I know that one.
Morgan was
Know
like,
it.
I am ready.
I got it. I got
She's
it.
like, I know Sam put South Korea in here somewhere. Okay. And the last one.
Okay.
Lovers in this country go all out on displaying their fondness for each other. Every year, they spend a sweet $18 billion on candies, cards, chocolates, flowers, and jewelry. Greeting
Damn.
cards are the most common gift, but not just for couples. Families, friends, and school children also exchange cards and notes of friendship, affection, appreciation. The most popular Valentine's Day candy isn't a box of chocolates, though. It's the little conversation hearts with messages like be mine and kiss me. Fun fact, enough candy hearts are produced in 1 year for everyone in the world to have one.
And see, and that's why I bought a bag that I almost broke my tooth on. I actually
Yeah.
think they're kind of stale. I think they were stale. I'm gonna go buy another bag because I have it in my brain that they're good. So they have to be good. So I
They
have to buy
have to
another
be
bag.
good.
They have to be good. Is that America?
That is the United States.
The United States. Honestly,
Yay!
do you like Valentine's Day?
I I'm back and forth on it only because it's also my birthday month, and
Yeah,
my
yeah.
birthday is legitimately 9 days later. And
Yep.
so I'm more like focused on the fact that my birthday is coming up than actual Valentine's Day. And I feel like too, like Valentine's Day has kind of like gone by the wayside because I have my wedding anniversary,
Oh, yeah, it's true.
which I'm
Wait,
coming up on like 10 years this year.
you got when did you get married? I feel like it was in the summer, right?
20 June 2015.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was in the summer because I remember when I came down, it was like nice and warm.
Yeah, it was
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, it
But yeah,
was gorgeous.
10 years of marriage this year, man.
Oh, listen, I am not the biggest fan of Valentine's Day. I don't know. I just find it to be like I rather people appreciate me throughout the year rather
Yeah.
than just one day. But if anyone bought me a book bouquet, I wouldn't mind it. I'm
Hint,
just
hint.
saying, okay? I'm just saying I wouldn't mind it. Okay. So you ready for my story?
Yes.
Okay. So mine's more so a story, okay? Um, I did write notes. I may go off the notes a little bit because I want to, I want to give you some of my personality, not all
Give a
the
little
facts.
flair, you
I want to
know?
give a little flair. Okay, so last year, I first off, I did not know what I was going to cover. I was like struggling really hard. I was like, okay, I could do this story, I could do that. I was actually thinking about doing facts about Jane Austen, and I was like, okay, it's getting too dark. I can't do that. So, so I listened back to our old Valentine's Day episode and, just to get inspired. And once again, you talked about Saint Valentine's.
Yes.
And I also talked about, Arthurian legends. And I was like, I like Arthurian legends. And I also like Greek mythology. Why don't I do a story about Greek mythology? So, Sam, sit back, grab your candy hearts that you say you don't like, but I'm pretty sure you do because you're lying to yourself. And let me tell you the story of Psyche and Eros. So, firstly, there are many different legends to do with Psyche and Eros, and there's tons of information. So, I do apologize if I don't say the correct legend or if I say something incorrect. Please just, listen, it's just gonna be the basics. This isn't gonna be a long, complex story. Is it gonna be fun? Yes. But, it might not be super, super in depth. If you do want something in depth, I would definitely check out Google and look it up yourself because it is an interesting story. And also, there is beautiful artwork to do with this myth. So our story starts in a kingdom where three princesses were born, but there was only one that was fairer. Oh my god. But there was only one that was prettier than the others, and that was Psyche. Now, she was the youngest daughter, and a lot of people compared her to Aphrodite, and they were like, oh my gosh, she is like as beautiful as Aphrodite, or even more beautiful than Aphrodite. And if there's one thing you should know about Aphrodite is that she does not like to be outdone. Okay. That's like the one thing. She gets very angry when someone says, like, hey, this person's more prettier than you. She does not like that.
Mm.
Okay. So first she made it so all the mortals would be very intimidated by her. But that didn't really work out because people still brought her gifts and still were like saying that she was super pretty and was like, yeah, she's may even be the reincarnation of Aphrodite. And Aphrodite is like, what? What? Like, I made it so no one would want to love you. But it's okay. I'm gonna send my son Eros after you. Now, Eros is the god of love, who just so happens to have wings and a bow and arrow. Does this remind you of a little baby wearing a diaper?
Cupid!
Yeah. Well, the Greek god's Eros, his Roman name is Cupid. And this is this is the mascot of, well, I would say this is the mascot of Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
And I thought it'd be perfect to tell you Cupid, aka Eros's love story. And also, side note, Eros had a brother called Antorus, and when they're together, Eros grows up, like he becomes like a teenage boy or like a man. But when his brother's away, Eros actually ends up becoming a baby again. But in this story, he is a grown man or like, a young adult.
Mhm.
Because if he's not, I'm gonna call the police. Okay, just saying. Okay, but Aphrodite sends Eros to go and shoot Psyche with a arrow because she's like, hey, this girl cannot, outdo me. Have her fall in love with a frog, a cow. I don't care. Just have her fall in love with someone really ugly and have her be the laughing stock of the kingdom. So in the middle of the night, Eros sneaks into Psyche's room with his arrows and he notches one and he's about to shoot her when he realizes like, oh wow, she's like gorgeous.
Mhm.
Like she is beautiful. And he is so in awe with her that he accidentally pricks himself on his own arrow and he falls in love with her even more. Okay. And meanwhile, Psyche wakes up, and as soon as she wakes up, Eros runs out of the room. Like he hides and he leaves. So later on, Psyche's father is very confused. So even though Psyche was kind of viewed as like the most beautiful sister, she didn't get married. She had no suitors. And both her sisters were able to find husbands and start a family. And so Psyche's father was like, why can't you find anyone? This is really odd. I don't like this. So he decided to do what any second century man would do. He went to go visit the Oracle of Delphi
Mhm.
to ask Apollo for advice. And I don't know why, Sam, I kind of view this as the same thing as going to check someone's horoscope. And instead of it being like, you know, you are going to meet a mysterious man or something like that. The oracle says like your daughter will marry, but she will marry a monster so fierce that even the gods will fear it. So the oracle tells Psyche's father that he needs to leave her on the summit of a mountain wearing black so that way her monster husband can come and take her. And you think that the father would be like, "Oh no, not my daughter." But no, he couldn't wait to put her on the mountain. He's like, "Come
Go.
on."
Go.
He's like, "Let's go." Cuz like, what's worse than unmarried daughter, I guess. Like he was like, "Get up there." Well, you're
All I can think of
yeah.
is like the Pride and Prejudice where she's like, I'm 27 with no prospects. I'm already a burden on my family.
Well, I'm pretty sure Psyche was only like 16 when this
I know, but
happened.
it's just
So
like married to a monster, unmarried. Monster it is. We are going
monster it
monster.
is. Let's go. Let's go. So here's Psyche wearing black, sitting on a mountain, waiting for a monster to claim her. So when suddenly Zephi, one of the winds gods, elevates her into the air, Zephi thought it would be best to make her forget her pain, and I'm pretty sure she's probably freaking out flying through the air. So he puts her to sleep. Now, when she woke up, she was in this like gorgeous palace. Like it had like gold columns. It was beautiful. And as she walked around this palace, she realized that there was no one there. But then suddenly a voice came out of nowheres, and this voice explained to her saying, "Hey, I'm your husband, and I'm going to treat you right, but you can't see what I look like. I will come to you at night, but you can't see what I look like, but I will take care of you. Like whatever you need, I will give it to you." And because she was hungry, she turned around the corner and there was like piles and piles of food. So he told her that, no matter what, he was going to take care of her. So of course that night she laid in bed, kind of like worried that what was this guy gonna like who was he?
Hmm.
And a man comes into bed with her and she realizes like, oh yes, it's a man. And Sam, can you guess what happens next?
They have sex.
Bench about chicka wow wow. And she got pregnant.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Pregnancy trope.
Oh no, pregnancy trope and one bed trope too. So even though Psyche was happy because one, she was pregnant, two, she had a husband, and three, she was being taken care of and she didn't have to work. She was also really sad about the life that she was missing out on. She wished that she could once again see her husband's face, but more so she was kind of just alone. Like she felt very lonely. And so she really wanted her sisters to come up and see her. At first, Eros was like, no, because he was worried that her sisters would find something wrong with him or that they would just ruin this like honeymoon bliss. But because she was so sad, Eros was like, yes, you can have your sisters come up. I really want you to be happy. The next day, her sisters came up to see her. And of course, they were amazed of this palace and the treasures that were in it. And of course, the sisters are like, completely like being like, what's the tea? Who is your husband? Why have we never heard of him? And at first, she kind of lies. She's like, oh, he was a hunter. And the sisters are like, a hunter? Do you see this palace? That is no, this is not a hunter. So slowly, Psyche kind of explains the whole situation about how a wind picked her up, brought her to this palace. She's with this guy who she doesn't even know what he looks like. Um, and she's pregnant. But her sisters, who are consumed by jealousy, they come up with a plan to kind of hurt her sister, and they get into her head that she should figure out what her husband looks like,
Mhm.
because she's like, what if he's ugly? And she's like, you're right, what if he is ugly? So she
I
decides,
mean, listen, she's already pregnant with this child. Like,
exactly.
the damage is done.
Also, if a man was like, hey, I'm not going to bother you throughout the day. All you have to do is lay around the house. You can read books. You can eat food. There's a pool. I would not be complaining. I'd be like, okay, let's go. But yeah, she wanted to know what he looked like. So, of course, uh, she decided after, they were in bed that she would get up, go get a oil lantern and a knife, because she was worried that, like, what if he really was a monster? Because she was like, what if he was a snake? What if he's like half monster? I want to protect myself. So she goes to his bed and she lifts up the lantern and she sees the most gorgeous man alive. And she is so shocked, Sam, that she falls to her knees. And because she falls to her knees, oil from the lamp falls on Arrows and wakes him up. And he is upset because firstly he sees the woman he loves standing above him with a knife. And
Mhm.
he's like, what? And so he gets upset. He runs to the room. Actually, and some of the myths I was reading, he jumped from a window because he has wings, but he basically left. But before leaving, he turned around and he said, love cannot live without trust, which, ouch. And he leaves and he goes to his mommy's house. And his mom actually locks him in.
Mama!
His mom actually locks him in her house. So he's not coming back for a minute because he's locked in his mother's house. But Psyche
Well,
realized,
yeah, because he
like,
disobeyed his mother.
that is true. He definitely did disobey her. And by the way, the whole reason why he was invisible the whole time is because he thought that if he was invisible, Sam, his mother would never find out. Boy
Lies.
logic. Boy logic.
Boy logic.
So Psyche decides, like, I need my boo back. Like, he is so cute. I need him back. So she goes to a couple different goddesses' temples, such as Dimitri and Hera, to ask them for help. But they both kind of like don't help her because they're like, listen, this is about you and your mother in law. You got to figure it out with her. So eventually she goes to Aphrodite and she's like, hey, I love your husband. I may have saw his face, but I love him. And Aphrodite likes to hold grudges. And, she's still upset about not only her coming after her beauty, but breaking her son's heart. So Aphrodite decides, one, you can be with my son, but you're gonna have to go through all these challenges.
Mhm.
And Psyche's like, listen, I love your son, so why not? So she immediately takes Psyche, drops her off with sorrow and worry, which is gods of obviously sorrow and worry, and they torture her. And keep in mind, she's pregnant too, so it's like, thanks for that, best mother-in-law ever. And then the next day, Aphrodite comes, throws her legit seeds and grains, and say, sort them. And Psyche is like, I don't know how to do this. Aphrodite leaves. She's sitting there and she just doesn't even try, Sam. She just starts crying. She's like, I can't do this. I can't do it. But here's the thing Psyche has. She has pretty privilege. Because an ant, yes, you heard me right, an ant heard her crying and said, I will come with my colony and we will sort the grains and seeds for you. So Aphrodite comes and all the grains and seeds are sorted because this aunt did it for her. She didn't even do it, Sam. She had help. She's like Snow White, okay? But with
She
ants.
cheated. She don't even
I
go
she
here.
she did cheat, and she will cheat the rest of the story. So the next day, Aphrodite comes. She's mad about it, but she's like, "Listen, here's your next task. I'm going to take you to this river. You have to cross this river and see this field over there with all these sheeps with gold and fleece. You have to get fleece from them." Now, the sheep were interesting because they were also very violent, and they would kill you if you tried taking their fleece. So she goes across the river and she literally like puts one foot in and says, "You know what? I don't want to do this anymore." And she just tries to kill herself in the river. So
Cool.
thankfully, there's a river spirit that picks her
Because of
up
course there is.
because pretty privilege picks her up and says, "I'm going to carry you across," carries her across, and then tells her, like, "Hey, bestie, don't go up to the sheeps and try to grab the fleece from them. Just grab it from the bushes that they walk from and like walk in between." And so she goes over there, literally grabs golden fleece off of the bushes and then brings it to Aphrodite. He's like, "Here you go." And Aphrodite is like, "Really? What? Like, are you not, what is this? Are you cheating the whole way?" But Aphrodite is like, "Listen, okay, here's your next task. See that water over there that's all black and gross? That's the river Styx. Go over there, take this vase, fill it up with river Styx water, and come back to me." And so she's like, "Okay, that sounds easy enough." She goes over there and she realizes, like, I can't do this because one, she's falling all over the rock. She has sandals on. She literally had like flip flops on. And if you know anything going near a river on flip flops, you're going to be sliding everywhere. Okay. So she's sliding everywhere. She's about to fall in. And all of a sudden, an eagle comes and skips down, grabs the vase from her, fills it up, gives it back to her. And who is that eagle, you would guess?
Zeus.
Zeus. Yep. Because Zeus was like, "You're too pretty to suffer."
Fuck you, Zeus. One time you do something nice for someone and so they cheat.
Pretty much. So finally, Aphrodite's like, "Okay, here's your last task, okay? You have to take this box down to the underworld, give it to Persephone, and ask Persephone for some of her beauty and bring it back up to me." So Psyche goes down to the underworld. She gets there pretty easily. She has no issues at all. The boatman, Sharon, basically is like, doesn't even probably even ask for money. I don't know. I didn't really like, they didn't really go into this part in the story I was reading, but I'm assuming he just saw her and said, "You're too pretty to be asking for money. So get on my boat. I'll take you to Persephone." So they get to Persephone and she's like, "Hey, Persephone, can I have some of your beauty?" And Persephone is like, "Well, I've always loved Aphrodite," or, "She's my girl," gives her some of her beauty in the box. And then Psyche makes her way back up to Earth. Now, I don't know why Psyche does this, but Psyche all of a sudden feels like, "Listen, I want some of this beauty from Persephone." I don't know why, Sam.
Well, I mean, she's selfish. Like, low key, she had everything. She had comfort, food, could laze around all day and do whatever the heck she wants. The only rule was, don't look at my face.
Yes. And the other only rule was, don't open this box. And did she open the box?
Fuck
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, she does open the box because she says, "I want to be a little prettier." So she opens the box, and what's in the box? Nothing but eternal sleep. So
What's in the box?
she falls asleep. Actually, in some legends, I saw that she actually died. In some legends, I saw that she just fell asleep in a coma. So I'm assuming she fell asleep in the coma. But basically, at this point, Eros escapes his mother's house. And he's also healed up from that little burn he got from the oil lamp. And I also pretty much think that he probably realized how stupid he was being. So he runs back to Psyche, sees that she's unconscious, shoots her with one of his arrows, which, if you think about it, that makes her fall in love with him even more. But regardless, she wakes up. He takes her to Zeus and he's like, "Hey, uncle." Was that his uncle? No, grandfather. That'd be his grandfather.
Mm.
"This is the love of my life. I love her." And so Zeus is like, "Okay, well, if you love her, you want to be with her, and this is your woman, you're like, here, she could drink this liquid, which is this liquid that gods take that makes them into a god, is like
Yeah.
ambrosia."
Ambrosia?
Yep. And so she drinks that and she turns into a god. And Zeus, well, before she does that, Zeus says, "If I turn her into a god, I want you to promise that if I see any maiden that is beautiful, that you would shoot them with an arrow and make them fall in love with me. Because if you don't know, in the Greek mythology, Zeus is a little bit of a player. And of course, Eris is like, yeah, no problem, no problem, I got it, like no problem. And so she drinks the liquid, she turns into a god, and then Zeus tells Aphrodite like, you need to leave her alone. She's a god, and you have to promise not to bother them, and she does. And so that's like the end of the story. So they did have a daughter called Hedon, which is the goddess of pleasure, and Psyche actually became the goddess of the soul. So there's many kind of different viewpoints of the story of what people think it is. My favorite kind of viewpoint, or how people are taking the story, is the fact that it's an allegory for the soul's journey for love. While some believe that just like butterflies, the human soul endures pain and change and can still have a happy ending. And so, yeah, that's my story about how if you have pretty privilege, you can get away with anything. The
You had one
end.
rule. One rule. And that was it. And you broke it. And then you still won.
Seriously. And basically, the whole time, she's like, I love the fact that she's like, I give up. I can't do this. And then she's like, I'm going to throw myself into this like river, and the river spirit's like, I'm gonna save you. Or she's like, I can't sort this, and the answer like, I got you,
We
bestie.
got you, bestie.
Oh my goodness, have you
Oh,
ever
I
heard that story
can't.
before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you
Yeah.
have? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
sure.
knew most. I knew a good chunk of it. I forgot about the ant part. I knew it was like, I thought it was birds for some reason. I think some of the stories it's birds.
Yeah.
But I knew she looked at his face and everything, and yeah, and I mean, like, I guess it also goes with like the like love is blind, because
Yep.
when you like actually see it, that's when like the true pain and everything, like, because you see the person for who they are.
Yeah.
But it's like, god damn, you had one rule.
You had one rule. And also, like, at least we don't live in the second century where fathers would basically put us on top of a mountain to be taken by a monster. So I guess we have that going for us.
I mean, fair. That's
I'm
fair.
just saying.
If
So,
you if you ask my husband, have you ever talked to Derek about like each time I'll be like, um, about why he married me? It's all jokes, but have you ever asked him why he married me?
I don't think I did, but there's something that he said when I saw you, that he said, what was it?
He
Was it
said
something
my
about,
dad paid him off.
oh yes, I've heard that before. I've definitely heard that before. Yep.
He's like, I already told you. He's like, your dad paid me to marry you. I'm like, shut the fuck up, man.
I mean, oh my goodness, that's funny. I can't remember what he told me that was really funny that he said about you. I'll remember eventually and I'll text it to you. So, listen, if you guys are curious, next week is well, first off, next week is going to be Sam's birthday.
Yay.
So can I just say right now, happy birthday, Sam? Even though I'm going to talk to you next week, so it's not like I'm
Yeah.
not going to wish you happy birthday
Next
again.
week's episode comes out on my birthday.
I know, isn't that so exciting?
I know, it's crazy.
I know we're getting old. Where
Ugh.
has the time gone?
We're in our mid-30s, man.
Do you what I saw? I saw Sam.
What?
I saw a someone put what was it? A I think it was like the razor, the razor. You had one of them, the
Like the
phone,
scooter? Oh, the phone? Yeah, the
the
little flip
phone
phone.
in a sorry, I swore, in a museum. It's in a museum.
Well, so is the N64.
Why? We're so old. Oh God.
It's fine. It's
Oh, at
fine. It
least
was
we
gonna
don't look
happen someday.
one day.
It wasn't like this was never going to happen. It's just it's
Exactly.
here.
It's here. We got to deal with it.
It's fine.
It's like oh gosh. Well,
It's fine.
anyways, if you guys are curious, next week Sam and I are going to be reading a young adult novel called Needy Little Things by Chanel Desamores. This novel follows a teenage girl who can hear what people need, such as a pencil, a hair tie, or even a phone charger, which is very needy, which is very helpful. But when she fulfills a need for her friend TJ, who suddenly vanishes shortly afterwards, she wonders if her ability is more of a curse than a blessing. This isn't the first time one of her friends has landed themselves on a missing person list, and she's determined not to let her friend become another forgotten black girl. Not trusting the media or the police, she has to work together with her friends in order to find out what happened to her friend. But when her mother loses her job, her brother faces complications with his sickle cell disease, she can't help but put herself in the same danger that DJ found herself in. So yeah, this sounds like a really good, like magical, I guess some ways mystery thriller novel. But
Yeah.
if you guys like this episode and liked our funny stories, then please feel free to rate us on Spotify, as it definitely does help push our podcast out there. Also, remember to check us out wherever else you can find a podcast. And we also do have a YouTube channel called Just More Page. And Sam will tell you about the many, many, many social medias we are now into now.
Okay, so if you think we are absolutely hilarious, and while it still lives, we
Woo!
do have a TikTok. It is Just More Page Podcast for all the stories and anything else we decide to post pictures. We do have an Instagram. It is Just More Page Official. If you are wanting a more like bookish app and less like Bookstagram, there's a new app called Tome, and we are on that as well. Just More Page Podcast, and we are also Just More Page Podcast on Blue Sky. So yeah, come check us out on there. Come follow us. Come slide into our DMs. We love talking to you all. We hope you all had a fabulous Valentine's Day. We love you. Thank you so much for all the support. And we will
Yeah.
talk to you all next Sunday.
Okay. Bye. Happy
All right.
Valentine's Day.
Bye.
Bye.